The question I wanted to ask you to start this hour, Joe, I'll ask you and everyone out there, how much of they play for each other, they believe, there's belief on that sideline, what percentage of that is simply, well, Josh Allen's the quarterback? Because let's think back to some of the great comebacks in history, right? 28-3, Patriots themselves down 28-3, beat the Falcons, and it's like no one on that sideline was giving up. No one was giving up. Mm-hmm. I mean, would you give up if your quarterback was Chad Pennington?
Oh man, I mean,
like how much of it?
Like when yesterday the Jets have Brady Cook at quarterback, it's probably pretty easy to give up at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a lot of belief in each other. Like everybody, it's a nice story. The winners tell the stories. What I would ask is how much of all that is, and I asked this to Sal, like the defense believing in itself, special teams, like they coach it up where players are definitely not giving up. You've got their focus, you've got their best as best you can. How much of that is just directly to like I'm a special teamer? I'm Sam Franklin. I'm going to make this tackle because Josh Allen's important. Because we're never out of it with 17. Like Shakir said that in the Baltimore comeback. When do we start this thing going? It's like, usually second half. Wait till Josh gets going. So you want to give a lot of credit.
Yeah.
You want to talk. Really, the quarterback is just like, is he 90% of it? Is that too much?
I'd say over 50.
Okay, over 50.
I'd say a lot of it has to be that.
Is he 83% of all of that belief?
I mean, their defense is coming together this year, there are a couple examples that I would point to if I were trying to make the counter to that of, well, no, they are like that in general anyway. Like, Allen never got rolling against Houston. He never really got rolling against Atlanta, and their defense did pull together and perform amazing in the second half.
Right, but how much of that is because let's keep giving him chances.
Because they thought, right,
keep giving him chances.
Even if he's not performing, they know who he is.
Right. There are teams. Yeah. There are teams. It's 21-0 at halftime. That game is over. You know that game is over, and everybody in the building knows that game is over. And with this guy, the game's not over. With a couple quarterbacks, it's not over.
Yeah.
You know what?
And you can make it about McDermott if you want to, but I would point to Tomlin in the Steelers. They've never had that quarterback, and that team quits all the time.
That's a good point.
The team always quits.
That's fair. You know what this game also kind of reminded me of? It reminded me, it's not a perfect comparison, but it reminds me of the Bills' playoff loss in Houston, where a team goes up big, and it's like, look at this. They're ready for their moment. And then along the way, wait a minute. Something goofy happened. All of a sudden, the Texans steal the win. And, we walk out of that game thinking, I thought it was their moment. And it wasn't. But they weren't about to go away.
Yeah.
If you're over here dunking on New England, I would say dunk. Dunk while you can. And maybe the rest of this year you can dunk by beating them again in the playoffs. But I don't think that team is going away. We had a caller earlier say, Drake May showed his true colors. I don't know about that. I don't think so. I think these two teams are going to be in battles like this a lot going forward.
And the last one, he did the thing.
Right, he got the game-winning field goal.
He stiff-armed Daquan Jones, and he kept leading them down the field, and he pulled the drive together that he needed to. So I don't think they're going away either. I think this is probably the weakest form of New England for years. They're going to add. They have money to do it. They have, I think, a smart coaching staff and a great quarterback. I would expect them to get even better. You might expect the Bills to get better too, and fix their problems.
Yes, definitely.
Over time, maybe they'll try. They have less to do it with, but at this point in time, there's no long-term takeaway I have from New England yesterday. None.
No, me either. I mean, they're kind of good, right? I mean, does a team?
Yeah, they're a good team. I think they're a good team. That I think that their similar problems to the Bills is I don't think their defense is probably that talented. The difference is right now the Bills I think their defense is getting coached up.
Yeah.
In New England, I don't know how good it is or how bad it even is because I just haven't seen it tested.
They also don't.
DVOA would tell you they're the 27th best defense in the league.
Right.
But that's very opponent based. Is that they're ranked that low? So are they going to get lit up in the playoffs by whoever they play?
Maybe.
If the Jaguars played the Patriots in the playoffs, should I expect New England to get lit up? I might be getting there.
Yeah, you might.
They are. That's why when we heard earlier, whoever was making the point, Chris Sims, the most complete team. in the conference. Like I almost feel like they're the least complete team. They're the least balanced. Like I think New England is fueled by an amazing quarterback. That's their season. Everything else is either pretty good or maybe in the defense's case, it's bad, especially at the front seven. Whereas like Denver and even the Bills, like I feel like they might be the most unbalanced team that you would see go into the playoffs.
I asked the question on pregame. I'll ask it again. How different are the Bills and Patriots? Not that different. If they played 10 times, what's the series? 6-4?
6-4 Bills.
7-3 if you want to get – put it this way. If it's 10 games in December, it goes 10-0 Bills because Allen doesn't lose in December, right? But I don't think they're that different. And I think if they played again, the Bills would be slight favorites. I would think the Bills are going to win. I thought they would win this time. And unless Josh McDaniels has a better game plan against whatever the Bills are able to do, I'm surprised. The first that would be one element of it that was a bit of a surprise to me. I thought May would at least have like one counterpunch, and he really didn't. They had the 68-yard touchdown run from Henderson, and that was it. He didn't have any answers. Anthony in Angola. Anthony, good morning.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're good.
Good.
Good. A couple things. One, Josh Allen's MVP chances. I know a lot, 3 weeks left. Just wanted to see your thoughts on that. And secondly, I follow a couple things on Twitter where in the first half there was the cowardly punt scale where we had a couple.
Two bad ones. Two very bad ones, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was just checking if you guys thought those were two bad ones. And the third one was the challenge that, McDermott, didn't even throw the red flag for. I know it could have come up from up top, but, I think that was a big momentum shift in the game, even though it was early. I just think, too, you guys do a great job assessing everything. I think lately you guys have been pro McBean, and that's fine. But I still think, too, hoping that we only get 3 or 4 stops a game is a really non-rational way to look at playing football just because we have Josh Allen. I think the roster is flawed, and I think part of that reason, you guys talk about, our defense not having, the right pieces and everything else, but doesn't that come from McBean?
For sure. I mean, there's no doubt about that. When you say we're pro McBean, I mean, that's a very broad statement.
I just think lately you guys, which is fine, we're winning, but I think lately you guys have hammered them, which but I think we talk about the defensive problems not being McDermott's fault. I think they are.
Yeah, I think he's done
I'm sure he has a say in the roster, and we say the depth and this and that, and Rousseau's playing perfectly for what the money he makes. I think you got to expect more out of Rousseau. I mean, and
what would tell you that?
Yeah.
Why? Why should I expect more out of Rousseau?
Why?
Yeah.
He's not very involved in 6'7". How many passes?
He plays more snaps than any defensive end they've ever had.
What's that?
He plays as many snaps as any defensive end under this head coach ever.
So shouldn't he have more of an impact in a game?
He's not. He was a low first-round pick that had one good year of college, and he's paid about half what the top guys are.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'm not criticizing. I'm just wondering why we think he's playing fine for the money he's making. That's all. I think he hasn't knocked down a pass all year. He's 6'7". He's got 4 sacks, and he sets the edge on the defense. I mean, I think you can expect more out of a guy for $20 million a year. But
are you saying the reason they don't have like blue chipper, all pro Micah Parsons or who are the Patrick Surtain level players on that side of the ball is more about McDermott?
I think he has a style, a guy that he likes. Yeah, that fits his. No.
Well, whatever. Like
I don't know. Was Matt Milano his style of guy when he was the best linebacker in football?
Yeah, undersized. Yeah, absolutely. He likes the undersized guy.
That's true. They do like they. Well, thanks, Anthony. There's a lot to this conversation. I think McDermott's doing a heck of a job with a roster that is not great. I will say it 100,000 times. I think too many people think that the head coach has more of a role in the roster than he does. The GM is the GM. The coach is the coach. The GM picks the players. Does the coach tell him, I like this guy, I like that guy? Sure. But the GM works with scouts. Does the McDermott overrule scouts? Like, let's just, how does a team work? I've got a room full of people, and we're talking about that next defensive end. Maybe it's Greg Rousseau. Does McDermott tell you, I like this about this guy and this about that guy? And then it comes to the Bills pick on 30th on the board, and what do?
Right.
They talk to their scouts. McDermott does not just walk in and pick players. And if you want to go the concept of how they play defense, penetrating defensive line, sure, undersized linebackers, like there are points to be made there. But, when you say like we defend McBean, to points, I think the Bills' roster building has been questionable. I think there's some warts there.
Yeah, it's funny, too.
And McDermott on the fourth down calls, sorry, Joe, as McDermott on the fourth down calls, like those were terrible. One of the big mysteries to me, and the reason it's a mystery is because it's inconsistent. I came in last week and said, okay, in the big games, McDermott's going to go for the fourth downs. And then this week he didn't, which means it's all just gut-alytics right now. I used to have what I thought was a book. I had the McDermott book on when he goes for fourth downs, and he has thrown the book out. I don't know what it is now. Maybe we'll find our way to what it is.
Right.
But it's unpredictable now.
And in terms of there's one period of time where I would safely say that was McDermott pulling the strings and bringing in his own guys. It was the 6 months or 7 months between January of 2017 and May of 2017 when Brandon Beane arrived as the general manager while McDermott was the head coach. There was a draft and there was a free agency in that period. And in that time, McDermott brought in Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Matt Milano, and Micah Hyde. And I would say to this day, those are the four most talented players, at least that have performed at the highest level that they've had on defense this entire time. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
That's not a good look. You've had 8 years to draft and develop this coach's players on that side of the ball, and in 4 months, he brought in more of those level of players than you have. So, I don't know, how would I get to blaming McDermott that, I guess, would you want to blame him for? That Kyer Elam wasn't any better and that you didn't develop him properly? Is that something that he deserves more criticism for? Because that's something that usually goes to Beane.
Right.
Who is the player, who is the position group that I should stare at and say, you don't get results out of this position? Maybe it's defensive end.
Yep.
Is that it? You're too rotational. Why are you always bringing guys in and out? Why is Von Miller, even at his best, only playing 45% of the snaps? Is that the place to look? I would want to know the specific players or position group that McDermott is failing them at. Because to me, I'm with you. I look at their defense and say, it's not that talented. They don't have high-level performing players at those positions, so you're scraping it together with whatever you got. Christian Benford is a pretty good corner. He's maybe a low-end Tier 1 corner in the league, and he's probably your best player on that side of the ball.
He might be like a top 15, top 10 corner.
A top 15 player in his position is the most talented player.
Let's go top 10, sure.
Right, I don't know. It's hard for me to ever get to their defensive problems right now are McDermott's fault.
Yeah, they've got a million practice squad elevations. They've got injuries. They are imperfect. I mean, they're getting it done. Joe Brady, we're mad at Joe Brady a lot. He is also getting it done. It's an offense built kind of without receivers, and they get it done. Right. And to me, the lesson in that is not, you don't need them. It's you're managing to get through it without them, and sometimes it's really impressive. A game like yesterday, Josh Allen makes a lot of plays. Listen, these last couple games, they've needed fourth down conversions to make the game a game. That's every one of these comebacks, you got to money down. Baltimore, 4th and 2, pass deflected, goes to Keon Coleman. That game stays alive because of that one play. Cincinnati, multiple fourth downs. They got 3 out of 4. Without them, they don't win that game. This game, the touchdown pass to Dawson Knox that's 3rd and 15. There's one on 4th and 2. The other one to Knox. It's a 4th and 2. Mm-hmm. You don't get that. It's a different game. You're getting money down plays from your freak show quarterback to change the outcome of games. And I don't even think it's really a controversial take. It seems like everybody seems to think the Bills roster is probably not as good as it has been in years past. It doesn't mean it has to stay there. And again, they're getting it done. I think McDermott's the job McDermott is doing coaching, getting results from the defense is good for the most part. And from the game management standpoint, he's been, to me this year, it's been a rougher year for him.
Part of why my confidence has grown in this is the year they could go to the Super Bowl is there is one area of McDermott that I will not defend him, and that is his defense against the Chiefs in the playoffs.
It's terrible.
There is no defense for how much worse McDermott's defenses are against that team in the postseason than everybody else's are. Like, even the other teams that Mahomes sees in the playoffs, they perform way better than McDermott's do. So that appears to be the fatal flaw of this head coach at this point in time. And guess what? That fatal flaw is not getting tested this January.
That's true. The one thing I always say to that is, why do the Chiefs get more against the Bills than other teams? Is because they always need more against the Bills than other teams. And the Chiefs always ultimately get what they need. This year, of course, they're not going to get that. But you're right. If we get to the playoffs and Trevor Lawrence drops 41 on them,
that'll be different.
Conversation.
Yeah.
You know? Like, Trevor Lawrence is having a really good year, especially lately. If they go to Denver and Bo Nix drops 32, conversation. The question is, does Allen drop 35? Because, you know, he covers up a lot of their warts offensively, defensively, everything. He's incredible. We are honored to watch. 803-0550, 1-888-550-2550. Thanks, Anthony, for the phone call. It's a good call. Feels like a lot of those questions, like through the weeks, we'll continue to dig into. This just a bit like a victory Monday. Bills win. We're happy.
Against the Patriots.
Yes. Good. Dolphins tonight. Dolphins and Steelers tonight. 803-0550 to join us here on Victory Monday on WGR.